Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my 3-month update for the experiment. This is a collaborative project I am doing with Jessica and Amanda. We had been given formulas. It started out with like a Reddit thread, and then we started using micro scales on our friend Yana to see how long it took her to use up things. We ended up with formulas for eyeshadow, blush, highlighter, and lip products, and we are testing out this formula to see if it is accurate. So, how did we do that? We each used the formula to gather 1 year's worth of makeup, and we're gonna see if we can use up that amount in 1 year or if that formula is way off for us. So, let's get into it. Let's see how I'm doing. First of all, at this point, it is very clear that Amanda, Jessica, and I are each doing this differently, which I think makes it way more interesting. We didn't talk about how we were going to test this formula out, just that we wanted to test it out. So we each found different ways of doing it. The way that I have been doing this is for each category, I gave an amount of days per week that I was going to use them, an amount of times per day that I was going to use them. And so I am trying to follow that guideline. So for example, for lip products, according to the formula that we were given, if I apply lip products 6 times a week, 3 times a day, I should be able to finish these 2 lip products within 1 year. This is the Victoria's Secret Lip Balm, and it has 0.58 ounces of product. And this is a Trustique lipstick in the shade Belize Bordeaux, and it has 0.02 ounces of product. Together, they make 0.6 ounces of product, and that is what I should be able to finish in 1 year. If I apply these 2 products 6 times a week, 3 times a day. So the way I figure out how to do that is I calculate the amount of days in the month and I take out the Sundays. So for the month of March, that leaves 26 days in the month that I need to apply this, and I multiply that times 3, and that gave me 78. So I needed to apply these 2 products 78 times during the month of March. I met my goal. I actually used them 79 times. I am keeping track of the overage just in case there were months in the future when I am short. So I have an overage of 1 for this month, which is great. I like to have a little cushion at the start of the year just in case things get difficult. I've said this before, but during the summer, I'm not working as consistently. I'm going to the beach, I'm going to the zoo. I just might not be as consistent with wearing makeup during the summer when I'm out and about with my kids. So I'd like to have a little cushion to cover me for the summer, particularly because I'm not working 5 days a week at that point and things get a little unstructured. So I met my goal. Obviously, as always, I'm using the lip balm more than I'm using this lipstick, but I'm trying to incorporate this lipstick in my looks as much as possible so that I'm not stuck with this in December. I'm wearing it today. It's a beautiful color. I really like it. This is how much is left. It's still pretty much brand new, guys. Still lots of product left. I am happy to say that this was domed above the top of the product when it was rolled all the way down. And now when it's rolled all the way down, it is clearly below the plastic part of the packaging. Not by much, but it is. So I know I'm making progress. I officially have a crater going on in this lip balm. I'm really close to hitting pan on it. That is what it looks like. I use this every morning, I use it every night, and I usually put it on one more time after I get home from work, but sometimes I don't do that. But every morning and every night consistently I put this on. So I think I might hit pan during the next month, I think. Okay, for blush, same deal, only this time I said I was going to use this product 2 times a day because I always layer a cream blush and then a powder blush on top of it. So if I do that 6 days a week, I should use the blush products a total of 52 times. I did achieve that goal as well. I actually used them 54 times, which is great. there is a massive amount of blush that I am supposed to be able to get through in 1 year. This might be the category that I'm questioning. Well, honestly, I'm questioning all of the categories, possibly excluding the lip products. But yeah, this feels a little lofty, but according to the calculations, I should be able to finish this pan of blush that is in my Pan That palette. This pan of blush that is a deluxe sample from Too Faced. These 4 Bare Minerals samples. And this cream blush from Maybelline. I use this cream blush every single day without fail, every day that I wear makeup. I always use this cream blush. I think it's looking a little bit more used than it did last month. I don't know. Some of you guys saw it last month. I feel like it looks brand new, but I am using this every single day. It's a fairly bright color, so I don't need a ton. But I would say most of my blushes are fairly bright colors. I don't have a lot of muted blushes that I need to pile on my face. Most of them are like this, and it doesn't take a lot for me to look like a clown. So yes, that's what that looks like. This is the one I'm using the most consistently. I tend, as far as the powder blushes, I do tend to use the blush that's in my Pan That palette the most consistently out of all of them. And even though there really isn't a dip going on, I can see that ring in the center, which is so strange because I'm so far away from hitting pan, but I can already see the ring popping up there. Can you see it? I think that's so bizarre. But yes, that's the one I use the most. When I feel like I need a break from a shimmery peachy pink blush, I tend to go to this one because it's a little bit more cooler toned and it's matte. So I have been using this one, but you can still see the TF is still on the imprint. So I haven't used it that much. And then out of the 4 Bare Minerals samples, I am trying to use this one the most consistently because this is also in my 2020 Vision Project pan. I'm not a big fan of loose blushes. I'm okay with loose eyeshadows. I'm not a huge fan of those either, but I'd rather work with a loose eyeshadow than a loose blush. These are just kind of intimidating. But I have used this several times during the month as well. So I met my goal of 52, plus I have 2 overage for the blush. For the highlighter, I said the exact same thing because I'm layering a powder blush on top of a cream blush or liquid blush. So the goal was 52. I met that exactly. So I got 52 in as of this morning that I'm filming on March 31st. I have 2 cream blushes, or 1 cream blush and 1 liquid blush that I am trying to get through this year. These 2 right here, this is from Trustique. Looks like that. And then this Becca liquid blush or liquid highlighter in Opal. And this is the one I'm using more consistently from day to day because this is also in my 2020 Vision Project pan, and I'm trying to finish this by the end of the year. So I'm working on this one first, and then when this is gone, I'll switch to this one. So I have used this probably about half of the times. For the powder highlighter, I am trying to use up this entire L'Oreal True Match Lumi highlighter that looks like this, as well as this loose Bare Minerals highlighter in the shade Precious. I use this much more consistently than this. I did use this one time during the month, but I am focusing more on this guy right here. I finally have a proper dip going in here, guys. I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the camera. Not really. It doesn't, well, can you see the dip? It's definitely a dip. I don't think I'm gonna hit pan in the next month. I think it's gonna take a few more months, but I am definitely focusing my brush right here still, and that's where I have the most progress. I've said this before, but as we get into the warmer months, I'm gonna just swirl the brush around more liberally, but for now I'm just kind of plopping it right there because I think this tone of highlighter suits me the best when I am at my palest. Okay, on to eyeshadow. I set the goal of using 14 single eyeshadows 6 days a week and using those 14 eyeshadows 4 times a day. If I do that, I need to use those 14 eyeshadows a total of 104 times during the month of March. And I met my goal plus 1 over. So I actually used these shadows 105 times. I have talked with you guys about my questions about the validity of this many times. For example, the difference between using an eyeshadow all over your entire eyelid and crease versus using an eyeshadow for your lower lash line, which is a much smaller area, versus using your eyeshadow as an inner corner highlight, which is literally just boop. You know, there's differences in how I use these eyeshadows, but regardless of how I use them, if I use them, I count them as using them once during that time. So even if I just pop it on my inner corner, I count it as a use. So there's a lot of inconsistency with how I use these shadows, but I can't track all of that. I'm just tracking the times that I use them, and if I use them, I count it. So I used my 14 shadows a total of 108 times. It is getting much easier for me to get the hang of this. It still feels quite restrictive, and a lot of you guys have said that you think it's really restrictive too. It is. It's very restrictive. I'm only doing this for this year, and I'm never ever ever doing this again because it is quite restrictive. But that being said, it's not hard to do. I'm finding it easier to do this, and I'm really curious to see where we're going to end up at the end of the year, so it's worth it to me. But this format is really restrictive for me. So to those of you who watch this and are like, oh my gosh, what a pain, thank you for understanding, because it is kind of a pain, but it's still worth it to me. I'm having so much fun, but yeah, it's kind of a pain. Okay, so let's talk about the 14 eyeshadows. First of all, I have these 5 in my separate little magnetic palette. These are a combination of Makeup Geek and MAC eyeshadows. I have Swiss Chocolate from MAC, Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek, Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek, Quarry from MAC, and Shimma Shimma from Makeup Geek. The shadow that I use the most consistently is Shimma Shimma. I don't like it, but it's just easy to pop this on my brow bone every single day and automatically have one shadow to count towards my statistics, for lack of a better term. So I use that pretty much every single day, and I do have a dip going on right in the center. I also have quite a targeted dip going on in Cherry Cola because I use a pencil brush to apply that either in my outer corner or my lower lash line. Same thing with Quarry. I use a pencil brush to apply that to my lower lash line. I finally started getting into Swiss Chocolate for the last week or so, and I'm wearing it today. I have probably covered it up with other things, but it's a beautiful shadow. I love these kind of pinky browns. I'm really into them right now. So I think I'm gonna start working on Swiss Chocolate more consistently from day in and day out with the look that I've been doing lately. But yeah, beautiful shadow. I love Swiss Chocolate. It's good. I love Cherry Cola, as you guys know. And I'm happy to see these little dips forming. No signs of pan yet, but the dips are encouraging. The other 9 shadows are inside of my Panette palette for 2019. They are right here. All of the round pans you see are the ones for the experiment. Out of these 9 shadows, the 2 that I used the most consistently for the month of March are Soft Brown from MAC and Whimsical from Makeup Geek. I love those 2 shadows. They're both great. Soft Brown is kind of a classic. I feel like out of the 2, I'm not gonna miss Soft Brown when it's gone. I probably have a dupe for Soft Brown many times over in my makeup stash, whereas Whimsical is a bit more unique to me and to what I own. It really is a beautiful shadow that I would consider repurchasing if I ever finished that behemoth of a pan, but I don't think I will. I really didn't use these other shadows very much during the month, to be honest with you. The 2 that I think I'm going to be using the most, I'm going to do a little prediction. out of the rest of these, I think I'm going to be using this one, which was from a company called Lala Cosmetics that I don't think is around anymore, which is a shame because I would highly recommend this shadow if I could, but it's gorgeous. I think it's called Blondie from Lala Cosmetics. I might start playing around with this green a little bit during the month of April as well. I really haven't used that shadow at all. It is a Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow, and it's called Fantasy. So maybe with spring coming, I'll feel like doing more green looks and connect with Mother Nature. All right, so I'm really happy to say that I am hitting my goals for the usage. I'm guessing that the actual numbers that we came up with for the amount of years worth of product I have for highlight and blush and eyeshadow is actually a gross underestimate of the reality, which is not good because those calculations were already several lifetimes worth of makeup, and the truth is, I think you can double those numbers. We'll see. We'll see where it all ends up at the end of the year, but based on my usage, I am using these products up way slower than what the formula said I should be able to do, which means that for me personally, it's a gross underestimate, just way off. So that's what the numbers are telling me today. I'm going to stick with this formula. I'm going to keep working on it for April and try to hit my goal to see if I can use up more product out of the stuff that I have for next month. That's where we're at. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this update. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.